for the biscuits? What do we do?
I put flour in the bowl.
And how much? Approximately.
I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, that was brand new. So maybe a third. And then the buttermilk.
Okay. And it's
Oh, is this buttermilk? Whipping cream.
okay. So now we have the buttermilk. Oh,
January
whoa! What's going on the top of that?
That's the butter from the buttermilk.
So that's okay.
That's
you don't
fine.
have to mix it in.
It'll get mixed in.
Okay.
And then I dump some in there. Don't ask me how much.
And
Actually,
it's curdled like that. a lot?
that is the butter in the milk.
Okay.
And I mix it up. And then this is still too floury.
Yeah.
So you dump in some more to where it's a really thick cake batter.
Half of that. About it.
That you can just move around like that. And you can still easily move it. And you just stir it around, get it well blended. And it's
It kind of
about,
looks a little curdled, right? Like
yes, it looks a little curdled.
that's normal.
You can beat it to where it's completely
fine,
smooth.
but it doesn't really
That
matter.
will make probably a more refined
Okay.
biscuit, like
Yeah.
refined flour
Sure.
biscuit.
And
But
this is just regular. This is just what kind of flour is this?
self-rising,
Self-rising.
hopefully.
Okay. Yeah. Otherwise, we're gonna have some flatbread.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is the consistency that you
I
are
know.
okay with.
Okay. What would you do different? Is that
It
about
might
right?
be more soupy, but if it's more soupy, you have to add
use
more
more
flour
flour.
on the board.
Okay.
Then you flour your board, and
So that flour was including the amount.
yes,
Okay,
including
gotcha.
you make
You
it
just do
as you
it.
go.
Oh, okay. All right. So we're flouring more
I just sprinkle a little bit on the top,
just to make it look pretty.
if that's what makes it look pretty, and then
Oh,
you
so it
kind of-
doesn't grab onto your hands. Okay.
yeah, and then you kind of pat it,
Tell it it's a good
And-
dough.
and then you bring it up from the board and just kind of pat it a little more. This is a gentle kneading process.
Okay. Instead of like the flap and
Instead.
slap, it's
Well,
more of a.
kind of flap and slap, but then when it's too sticky, you add a little more flour. And it gets sticky, and your hands are gooey, but that's part of the fun because it takes you back
To
a
like
few
Play-Doh.
years. Play-Doh, only
Yeah.
Play-Doh's not sticky.
Or whatever they call it nowadays, the imaginative clay.
Reimagined. We're now into reimagined. And
Okay,
then
so your hands are getting a little.
now, what I
kicked up.
do
Uh-huh.
is fold it in fourths.
Okay, I see how you're doing a pattern.
Yeah, a pattern like this.
Okay.
And once it gets too gummy,
Uh-huh.
just you try to hold off on the flour as much as possible
Sure.
because it makes a real heavy biscuit.
Okay.
But you guys don't seem to care once they're baked.
No, we don't. We'll eat pretty much anything.
And it can be still kind of gooey,
Okay.
but more pliable like this.
Sure.
And this.
I mean, it is a relatively heavy biscuit, but it's
It is
something
a
that
heavy
sticks
biscuit.
with you. It's not just a light, airy, foofy biscuit. It's
Right.
more of a hearty lumberjack
You
style.
can make it that way.
Yeah.
But I don't have much success.
Okay. And then
So I make, see, it's
So
still
it's-
kind of gooey,
right,
so,
but it's thickening up quite a bit. It's not easily as folded over
right,
because you're absorbing that extra flour that's around there.
right. And so it's not super bread dough,
Right.
but, and this might be a heavier biscuit, and I
Who knows?
try
I
to
don't know.
form
Yeah.
it as big as the pan is going to be.
And so you're just doing that based on the consistency of what you just felt on the last fold.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's not completely sticking
Okay.
to my hands.
All right. So now you're gonna form it out so that you can cut shapes out of it.
Right.
Okay.
And I do need my pan prepped.
You're gonna prep the baking dish.
Well, you usually prep the baking dish first.
Sure, but hey, we fly by the seat of our pants.
Or something like that. Then you pour oil to cover the bottom. So it's actually oily.
Okay. Like a good 3 or 4 millimeters of oil at the bottom.
That's what you call it. Now sometimes if it's too gushy, you can dip it in a little more flour.
Okay. And too gushy would be like sparkling, reflecting back water sides, or
Yeah,
okay.
you don't want it too
Sticky,
runny.
sticky. Okay.
You don't want it sticky. Then you flip it,
Okay.
and if it's sticking real bad to
The cutter.
then you just, and if it feels soft, it's all about the touch.
Okay.
And like I say, they can be more gushy, but they take longer to cook if they're more gushy.
Gotcha. And
And if
usually
you
how
have-
long do they take to cook? Approximately 35 minutes?
Sometimes 20, sometimes 25.
Okay. Just depends. You basically have to watch them.
You watch them. You set it for 20 first,
Then check on
and
it.
then check on them in a 400-degree oven. Sometimes the oven can be hotter, but
Yeah, it just depends on what you got to work with.
very pretty in the pan, but today they're going to get squished.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a hot bread.
See, now it's kind of
Okay, so-
gooing
yep.
and getting sticky, so
Saw
I'll
that, yeah.
take this gooey one and just kind of roll it in a little more flour.
Okay.
You can pull it over and force it in. And it's kind of like bread dough,
Sure.
soft bread dough on top. These that are left over, I take a little bit of flour and knead that into the dough to where it's not super sticky. Now you can see how this is
Yep.
sticky.
That side didn't get as much flour, I guess.
Or it's just taking time to absorb it right
Okay.
now.
Sure.
So I'll end up doing that. I'll put a little more, and you just kind of dust it a little bit. And
Yep,
these
see
are,
that one stuck too.
now if I'm making it for company, I take a little more time and
Right.
they
I mean, I've seen
look a
them,
little
yeah,
more precise.
yeah, but they all end up in the same place.
And I'll make this, just pat a little bit of dough in there so it's not super sticky.
Sure.
You can coat your biscuit cutter. This
saw the
was
biscuit
your
cutter's
great grandmother's
Oh.
biscuit cutter.
Okay.
That's why it looks a little funky,
Sure.
but I love using it. It reminds me of her.
Yep.
And was Charlotte. And that's still a little sticky, so there we go. And I'll find another pan.
We got any foil in the biscuits, maybe?
No.
Okay. Hey, just
Well,
gotta count the
I'm
placenta,
not
you
gonna
know?
have my biscuit have foil in it. And that's, make
So then
those
we'll put
kind of
those in
round.
in
We'll put
another
those in
pan.
another pan, yeah. And then we pop those babies in the oven. But you want to coat
Pretty
the
liberally.
bottom.
Yeah.
If it's really oozing out at the top, I will take a paper towel and soak some of the
Sure. Foil off.
grease out. And what the oil does on the top is kind of brown it when it's cooking.
Yeah.
So it's crispy on top. Okay, now that looks kind of oily
Oh, on the side there.
on the side there, so if
Just
it's too
discard.
much, I'll discard it like that.
Okay.
Bring it back, take the oil off the handle and put it in the oven.
Cool. And we got, okay, and they're looking like they're shaping up and starting to slightly brown. Let's see if we can get a focus. Focus. Nope. No. Peak. Yeah. Okay.
So they'll probably go 5.
So we're going on 25 minutes and we're at 425, not 400. Okay. So
That's how they look at this point.
these look pretty good. We just got a few more minutes, I guess, right?
Right.
25 minutes?
25, and what we do, to check it, you pull up a center, and it pulls up easy,
Okay.
and it doesn't seem to be doughy.
Okay.
So
So
it's,
they're probably pretty good.
it's done.
Okay, that was 25 at 425.
Right.
Look at it. Bottom's nice and golden brown. Show me that. Yeah. Looks good. Doesn't it look good? Yeah.
Let's start.